Here, everybody's getting their flu shots. I mean, we don't do this thing for the love of needles.
That's right, we do it to protect our health. It's the same point of the antivirus.
It is, yeah. Thor Schrock returns to compute this morning. Good to see you, Thor.
Hi,
Did you get
Thor.
your flu shot?
No, but you're telling me they don't have the nose mist stuff?
No mist this year, buddy.
Well, this year they're changing the rules.
It didn't work last year, they said, so they're not doing it.
That's a whoopsie.
I got the shot. You got the shot, don't you? You got the shot yet?
No, I haven't, no.
You got the shot. Speaking of shots, our computers need shots. They need
different.
antivirus for our computers. Exactly, I guess, what are we up against from a security threat standpoint right now?
Gotcha. Well, you know, the security threat changes all the time, but what you have is a situation where there are new viruses that come out literally every single day, and they're not, you know, radically new. They're modifications of older viruses, but the problem is your antivirus software is programmed to detect what it's seen before. So every time there's a new slight variation, it has to, you know, somebody has to get infected, then they have to examine it, and then they include it in the definitions that protect everybody else. Yeah. So it takes a little time to get protected.
So antivirus is sort of like this idea, but the reality is it's not all the same. So why do people get infected even when they're running antivirus? You see that a lot when people bring their computers into your shops.
All the time. In fact, we have a picture. We love this picture. I took this with my cell phone, so forgive the quality of the photo. This is, excuse me, a customer running AVG. Or no, they're running Avast. You can see the Avast window down in the lower right-hand corner, and there's a big green check, and it says, you are protected. These are two different scanning programs we're running in the background telling them how many infections they have on their computer. So even though that antivirus is running, this is one of the freebies, even though it's running, even though it says you're protected, this computer is quite obviously infected. So how does that happen? It's those variants. So in other words, AVG or Avast hasn't been taught to recognize these new variants yet. And so when you go with a solution that's more competent, more complicated, like Endpoint, for example, or Kaspersky is another decent one if you want one that's unmanaged. There's a difference between, you know, managed is when you have a company like Schrock backing it. When we find something wrong, we get a report, and we have all these charts and graphs and things that we can look at, and we can tell you like what's going on with your computer and how you kind of rate in the threatscape, how you know how you're doing. So on this chart here, for example, you can see the top graph is the number of security intrusion attempts we've had in the last 7 days.
And this is through Schrock Innovations?
This is just on Schrock's covered customers. So you can see that's a day by day. That's each day is that bar. So you can see the weekend, you know, Russia must have tuned in for the debate. You know, you can kind of see that there.
Glad we
so
can
less
laugh about
activity.
Now down below,
it looks like candy corn. What's that?
The candy corn chart. These are that's beautiful for October, isn't it?
Yeah.
These are Schrock customers. The lighter part of the candy corn are other security risks, things that aren't a big deal. The orange part of the dark orange candy corn part there are actual viruses that attempted to infect a Schrock customer that Endpoint
stopped.
Holy cow, that seems like a lot. And I've heard you talk about Endpoint before. What does it do? What's it doing in the background?
Well, Endpoint is made by Norton, by Symantec, the same company that makes Norton Security. They used to make Norton 360, Norton Antivirus. October, 2 or 3 years ago, they got rid of Norton 360 just all of a sudden. Poof, bye-bye. And so we moved everybody to Endpoint because we tried a bunch of different stuff, and Endpoint was the best in our opinion. So we moved everyone to Endpoint that we had on Norton 360, which is why you probably, if you have Endpoint, there's a good possibility you got a robocall from me this month saying, it's time to renew your Endpoint, please get in touch with us. So if you got the call, please do call us back because we have only a mere 800 people to renew this month.
Wow.
Which is massive.
But Endpoint is kind of the gold standard.
It is,
Is it fair to call it that in the antivirus world? Just because, I mean, I think about some of these like military organizations and like government level agencies, that's what they
universities use this stuff, yeah.
Right.
And this chart here, what this is showing you, and I know this is incredibly exciting television, but what this chart is showing you, we talked earlier about how like programs like Avast you're infected even though they say you're protected. These two yellow outlined detections are generic. They're algorithmic detections. So if it looks like a virus and it quacks like a virus, it's probably a virus and Endpoint's going to treat it as such. But it quantifies those for us in these, and you can look at the numbers and you can see they're really big. Like they're organized from the most heavily found down below. Cookies are obviously at the top. We delete cookies, they're not really a threat, but we delete them because they're used to track where you go on the internet. And you go down, it's in the third highest thing are viruses that we haven't seen specifically yet that have been sent to Symantec for analysis in the Symantec Antivirus Research Center, but we're going to still quarantine them for now. And if we make a mistake quarantining something that's legit, we'll restore it later. But in the meantime, it's better safe than sorry.
Protect your
To
protect your
it.
computer.
There are some computer users out there that may be using some other antivirus software and maybe some of the free programs. If they want to upgrade to Endpoint, how do they go about that process and that transition?
Well, sure. You know, we get customers all the time, and this is why the antivirus companies now are saying, you know, buy a 2-year renewal and save 30%. Because, you know, how often do you have to make that decision to change your antivirus? And if you have a subscription that has time left on it, you're much less likely to throw that away and move.
Right.
What I would say in challenge to that, though, is if you do get hit with a virus, and I just showed you a picture, it happens every single day. If you come into my shop and we ask you, what are you running for antivirus? And you say McAfee, Avast, AVG,
I don't know.
WebRoot, I don't know. We're going to say, do you want to authorize a virus removal if you're infected, especially if you're bringing it in for a virus? Well, how much is that? It can range from $100 to $200.
For the removal.
For the removal.
So your point is
and
it's a lot cheaper.
And then you have to get the protection anyway.
Right.
So get the protection before you need it. We can do it at any of the 3 service centers. We can even do it over the Schrock desk. You don't even have to come in. Although today, I'll be honest today, we're really, really busy on the Schrock desk, so don't call expecting it today. We'll schedule you for later in the week.
You can learn more about the Schrock desk, about Endpoint, about all things Schrock at SchrockInnovations.com.
Imagine that.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Thor.
Thanks, guys.
Good to see you. So things are